Yeah.
Welcome to the Right Read Podcast.
Opening night, Knicks Celtics. That was the easiest money line ever. Like the Celtics were going to come out, ring ceremony. All of the Jason Tatum got snubbed from the Olympics rotation. Jaylen Brown should have made it.
One of the best things ever to watch, bruh, is like the beginning of the season fake teams that you know like they're tanking, but the players like don't understand
that they're tanking. Yeah.
My thing with that, dog, he's shooting 43%.
He's shooting 40% though.
Like,
Like,
put him on and be like, hey, Anthony Edwards, you know, you're just like putting up the best 3-point shooting season ever currently.
Yeah,
like you know, maybe we should take like 2 more minutes a game.
Press conference? The trigger on the Mitchell trade, but rebuilding teams, seeing the fruits of its labors. I think this is really that year where you see a lot of those teams that like really stuck it through the mud.
Leaning heavily on guys like KD, guys like James Harden, and it's Game 5, Game 6 in the season.
Man,
is you got like 76 games to go. Oof, like the smartest basketball players in the league, some smartest ever, continually be like, I can make
Russ work.
Like
no one
I can make Russ work. Welcome to the Right Read Podcast. I'm Assad, joined as always by DeAndre, Isaiah. You can find me at AssadKing2001 on Twitter. Isaiah?
You can find me at Jesus Supremacy on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter /X. We got to start saying that more.
Okay, find us at X.
Find us on X at Willems, WILLLUMZ, and on YouTube at DeAndre Does Hoops.
Yeah, that just sounds inappropriate, man. I don't like.
Yeah,
I don't like
find
calling
me on
it X. Man.
Yeah, it does sound kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Follow our posts, whatever. Anyways, it's a week into the NBA season. Every team's played give or take around 5 games. Some teams played 5, some teams played 6. You know how scheduling goes. It's just how the NBA is, right? And we're here to give a little bit of overreactions, more so predictions, I think, on how we think the season's going to go.
I think all of them are
so, yeah, just kind of an overall vibe of the season, what we think's going to happen, talk about teams, talk about players. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to start at the top, start positivity, right? So, Cavaliers.
Is it really positivity, though?
No, hey, it's positivity. There's 2 undefeated teams in the NBA. We're going to shout them out. In the Western Conference, I think, to nobody's surprise, it's the Thunder at 5-0.
To nobody's
they have, I'm pretty sure, like, I saw this stat on Twitter, on X, where they're the first team to have like a 5-0 start with double-digit wins in every single one of the 5 starts.
They
which
played Denver, which is
they played. Well, we would talk about Denver too.
Yeah,
Denver.
Get there. Yeah,
we'll get to Denver, right? Because Denver might have their own issues. But anyways, Thunder off to a really, really hot start. To no one's surprise, they were number 1 seed in the West last year. Made 2 huge offseason additions.
One of them's not even playing yet.
Their biggest offseason addition, Isaiah Hardenstein, who got his new contract, hasn't even played a minute for the Thunder, which is kind of scary if you really think about it, because I think he really fills, and this is no disrespect to Alex Caruso, but I think Isaiah Hardenstein fills like a bigger gap on their roster. In
Caruso
terms of
was the luxury.
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys get Alex Caruso on top of this? Like,
Caruso's really a luxury.
Like, they're missing something in Isaiah Hardenstein.
They have a bunch of 3-and-D wings on the roster. They really don't have a backup center. Like, as good as their depth is around like 1 through 15, probably the best in the NBA. You could argue Celtics, but I would say the Thunder are probably the deepest team in the league.
Probably them.
Yeah, and so I think Isaiah is going to be a huge addition when they come back. Like they're extremely good team, 5-0 start. I think all of us had the Thunder at the 1 seed prior to the season going in.
Unfortunately.
I can't say all of us, man.
Who'd you have as a 1 seed?
Ja got me, man. Ja got me, man. Even Edie and Ja got me, man. I didn't know. I didn't think that Jaren was gonna be out this long, though. And I'm gonna be honest, Brett. I'm just an OKC hater. So like, I gotta stand on 10 toes. I had them as the 2
Vince
seed.
Williams not back yet,
but I got Vince out, Gigi out. Like everybody on Memphis got hurt. But like, I gotta be the OKC hater, man. Like I don't want to see them succeed at all. So they were my 2 seed, but
that's not gonna be a rewarding hate watch.
It's not. It's been a
wait till May.
Yeah, nah, for real. Wait till the playoffs happen. But that hate watch has been the worst part about it. And me and Isaiah talked about this briefly before you got here. I don't even think they're playing good basketball yet. Like,
at least not.
They're not.
SGA was playing like, can I shoot threes? J-Dub was kind of...
he's shooting a lot.
Yeah, SGA's taking double-digit threes.
Yeah.
Or it's like 8 or something.
I think it's like
very
9.
Close.
It was something, but he was shooting like 20% of them at one point or something. Like he's not really an effective pull-up 3-point shooter, but he's like, I just want to take him. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
J-Dub's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, they both.
And it's like, oh, they still have a 96 defensive rating.
Yeah.
Plus 18 net
huge
rating.
credit to Chet. We're going to get into Chet when we talk into
we got we got
defensive
agendas
player
to
of the year
push there,
conversations.
man.
Yeah,
We got agendas to
we
push.
get into defensive player of the year conversations. We're definitely gonna bring up Chet.
Why?
Hey, listen, we'll get to that.
We
We'll get
get-
to
we
that.
get-
But I think Chet has played phenomenally.
Yeah.
I think 23, 24, and 15.
Yeah,
I think it's
something
like
like
24 and
that.
13. It's like ridiculous stat line, and he hasn't shot well from three yet.
Yeah,
Which-
Yeah, he averaging like 4 blocks a game too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous numbers. OKC's very good.
it's a terrifying team.
It is.
It's a genuinely terrifying team. I would say they have played the Spurs.
I hate.
They
talking
got a
about the
couple.
Thunder, man.
Yeah, I hate talking good about them, bro. Like they got a couple like fake good wins. I'll say that. Speaking of another team in the West, we'll get to them. On to the East though. Cleveland.
I was gonna say I think this team is a lot more interesting to talk about because
Very interesting.
me personally, I'll be out and say I know it's only 6 games. 6 games for Cleveland. They're 6-0.
Mhm.
It's only 6 games, but I personally did not expect them to
Yeah,
look
I had
as
them
good as they've
the-
looked so far.
I forgot I had them as the 7th or 8th seed.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I will
I did too.
say
That
I
much.
don't want to do like a way too early victory lap or nothing, but like all the people who thought the Cavs like weren't gonna be a top 5 seed, I just never got it because it's like it's certain teams when you're like consistently a 50-win team. Like I feel the same way about the Knicks as well, right? I feel like you have to give them like the benefit of the doubt, like that this is the baseline. Obviously, like the biggest thing for the Cavs has been the playoffs. Like their core 4 guys haven't really fit together. But like on the whole, in the regular season, the last 2 seasons, they've been very good, like both years. So it's like, dog, I don't expect like a fall off. Like, I feel like 50 was like the number for them to hit. Now, obviously, like they kind of it's 6 games, obviously, but they exceeded it so far because they're like the only, or they have
They're
the best
6-0,
record in the league.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I feel like top 4 seed was always like
I don't know.
around where they was
My
gonna be
thought
at.
process was after all the drama that happened, a lot of the
Yeah.
contract
That's fair.
stuff,
It was a vibes
PG,
That's
pick,
fair.
Yeah,
man.
it was really a vibes pick of like, man, do these dudes like each other? And I will say credit to Kenny Atkinson. He came in and you can clearly see the offensive identity he's trying to establish. It helps that Evan Mobley took another leap. Like
I was
he
gonna
looks
say
like a
we're
monster.
gonna start off this podcast giving props to people that none of us really want to give props.
Yeah, like no, I rock with Evan Mobley.
Hey,
Evan Mobley's, yeah.
Evan Mobley, like he's hooping.
He looks like a monster. Like he really like some of the stuff he's doing on the court is ridiculous. Also, probably the most unsung. I can't say Derek White's the most unsung anymore. We all know how good he is. Jared Allen has been.
Yep.
The stats will
Yeah.
never do him justice to how good he is. You have to watch the games to realize how impactful he is to that Cavs team. It's ridiculous what he's
Yeah.
doing on the court right now. Like he is legitimately the glue that holds that team together. And then when you got an all-star backcourt, I mean, it's all just coming
Defense
together
ain't really
for them
been
right
playing like too crazy.
That's
either.
the crazy part.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't even feel like this is like some unsustainable like oh
at all. Yeah.
D-Mitch averaging like 40 so they're 6
they're
0
all
like
kind of playing like solid.
yeah everyone's just
Their role
playing
players also like I ain't gonna lie, Dean Wade been nice.
well. Dean Wade been really nice.
What Mero's shooting like some like insane number from 3 right now. I
Yeah.
forgot what the
I think it
exact.
was- Ooh, I forgot because
pretty
it's,
sure he,
it's
like,
him and
damn
like
near, like,
Jaime
40.
Jaquez that are both shooting
Yeah.
like an unreasonable
Yeah,
three right now. It's like something ridiculous. Like, bro, it's been a couple games. It should have gone down by now.
Yeah.
But it's something
Mhm.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I watched that Lakers game and they just like from wire to wire just
dude. It was BTA.
blew them out. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
golly, man.
That was bad. In a homecoming game for Braun too. Like, it's usually some games that you feel like, okay, there's a narrative going into this one. Like
Mhm.
opening night, Knicks Celtics.
Yeah.
That was the easiest money line ever. Like the Celtics were going to come out, ring ceremony, all of the Jason Tatum got snubbed from the Olympics rotation. Jaylen Brown should have made it. All this like hoopla about it. It was the most predictable. Oh, this is going to be a 30-point blowout ever. LeBron going back to Cleveland. Bronny's first time back in Cleveland. It kind of felt like, all right, this is the real Cavs. We can see what they are.
I ain't gonna lie, I
They
think he's
just
like
said,
6-0 against Cleveland, like in
Yeah.
Cleveland before that, like since he left the second time.
They put a stop to
Yeah, I ain't
that.
gonna lie,
They
bro.
really, really did. We go down the order in the West, though. Another
was-
team out West, I think that's probably been a shock to. I think some people with how the narrative surrounding them was. The Phoenix Suns are 4-1.
Phoenix Suns are 4-1. Golden State Warriors are 4-1.
Yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's gonna be actually our segue into this next
Yeah,
segment.
they have a fake 4.
So I'm gonna read the top 3 from each conference, and y'all tell me if one of these teams you think is fake. We got Cleveland, Boston, New York. I feel like I could see the
I
season.
think that might.
I could.
that might.
I think
actually
Boston's gonna be the
the-
1 seed. I think
Yeah.
Boston's gonna be the 1 seed.
That might actually
I
be
think
the
Cleveland
top
might
3.
just be top 3.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might actually be.
Because they already been a good regular season team. Like it wouldn't be
Mhm.
a shock if instead of just winning 50 games this year, they turn it up
Okay.
like a notch and win like 55.
Yeah, I will say though the next 3, Orlando, Brooklyn, Chicago.
Yeah, like
I
Brooklyn.
ain't like all 3 of those.
Yeah,
might be
they.
fake.
Orlando because
Orlando's-
Apollo's injured.
Yeah,
But
That's more like
Brooklyn and Chicago don't want to win, and I don't.
Yeah.
I think they're so far from thinking.
I ain't
they
gonna
wanna
lie.
win
One of
too.
the best things ever to watch, bruh, is like the beginning of the season fake teams that you know,
Yeah.
like they're tanking, but the players like don't understand.
They don't understand that they're
tanking.
tanking. Yeah, it's like
Bruh,
Shout
that's-
out
that's
Cam
what Brooklyn
Thomas.
is. Yeah, I
shout
know.
out,
Oh my
shout out
God.
to shout out to ISO Joe 2.0. Like that's really what that man.
Like
he's
all,
just
all
like, I
of
don't
these
care.
Brooklyn games are
Score.
just like dead down to the wire games, and it's like, oh, Cam Thomas start off 4 for 12. You check the box score. Oh, he like 9 for
Yeah,
22.
9 for 22,
Like, all right, bruh.
13 for 14 from the free throw. That's like what the.
and it's
heck
all
is that?
jumpers too.
Also,
That's the
Dennis
crazy
Schroeder
part.
been hooping
It's
all
all
jumpers.
jumpers.
No, I will say he has been
Dennis
getting-
Schroeder been really good.
He hasn't been getting to the basket a little more. Cam, that was one
Yeah.
issue. He's been getting there
Yeah.
a little better, but like it's all tough buckets.
Yeah,
He's never seen an
nothing but
easy
just
shot in his life. It's
BDS
ridiculous.
shots, man.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
just look at these
that's
playoff
something.
teams. You got Orlando, Brooklyn, and Chicago all at 3-3.
Orlando probably deserves to be there, but they'll fall because
They're gonna fall because of Apollo's
Yeah,
injury. It's
yeah,
just,
it's
I
gonna
mean,
be tough to
you
do.
lose your best player for, man, they're being nice. Like
it's a full oblique.
Well, they said like
tear,
6 to 8
right?
weeks.
I think.
they said 6 to 8 weeks to
reevaluate.
reevaluate.
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he's
It's
gonna be out.
it's
for
a
the
full
post-All-Star
tear.
break.
So this is the big thing. I was reading into this a little bit.
Surgery.
Yeah, if it's a full tear, which is what they're kind of insinuating right now, he needs surgery. If he
Oh,
needs
yeah, so he's
surgery,
out.
yo,
It's
we're
like 3
talking
to 4
like,
months.
we're talking February.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, you said it's oblique, right?
Yeah,
Ah, he
oblique.
might be, yeah, them core
It's
injuries
bad,
might be
man.
cooked.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
a strain is 6 to 8 weeks, and I think that's why they were
Yeah.
trying to see to evaluate. Like, if it's 6 to 8 weeks and it's just a strain, all right, cool, we can come back. We'll ease him back into it. If it's like you said, if it's a full tear, that's
He might
and
be done.
issue
Might be-
I
might be
have
chalked.
is issue I really have is if you're gonna wait the 6 to 8 weeks to evaluate and then get the surgery, you get the surgery now. He probably would be back late January, early February ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, we might have to rush you back come playoff time. Like
See,
this is where it gets a little.
I feel like that's a very like
Like if they make it,
I would say though that's
yeah, that's kind of the
Ah,
point.
they'll make it.
They'll be good enough.
I mean, but the problem is if you're not top 6, you're in the play-in, and that's a single elimination tournament.
Yeah.
Like if they're not, which I ain't lie, there's a decent chance with no Paulo, they might end up being like the 7th or 8th seed. You got 2 games to win one, but you still got to win a game.
Yeah.
Like we've seen a team be matter of fact the Pelicans weren't they 7th last year?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
seventh and
Yeah, and they
lost.
lost both games.
No,
No,
they
no,
lost
no,
one
no.
in a second. They lost
won-
the
they
last.
won-
Has
the
there
second one.
has there been there's been a team that lost both, right?
Clippers. Clippers 2
It
years
was
ago.
them.
Yeah, they were
Clippers
they
usually
lost
8th,
both of
right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 8th.
Yeah, so you get put in that situation where it's 2 single elimination games. Even if you have 2 home games, you still have to win one.
Warriors too.
Were they the
They,
ninth?
they
Oh, yeah,
lost
they were-
to-
they were
they
the
lost to
AC.
Lakers and they lost to Memphis.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right,
Warriors
yeah.
too. Okay, so it actually happens a lot
Yeah,
more
it's
than I
happened
think it
twice.
does
would.
happen. Okay.
I mean, yeah, 2-game elimination. But real quick,
I think
I'm,
Cleveland also, if I'm not tripping, or were they just
no.
I
They,
think
they were
they-
like the 9th seed.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
good.
Ah,
They
they
were the
were,
9th,
yeah.
yeah.
Because they
But-
beat. We don't got to get into that.
Yeah, no, they lost to Atlanta. It was
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
only played
yeah.
one game. But real quick though, I'm just glancing at these standings. At 1-3 and 1-4, Philadelphia and Milwaukee. That can't be right.
I mean,
right?
Philly just.
I will say Phillies because of injuries. Milwaukee was so predictable, and I tried telling people, and nobody wanted to listen. Brooke Lopez is old and decrepit. Chris Middleton's hurt, and Doc Rivers is one of the worst basketball coaches we've ever tried to pretend is good in the history of this fine association. What he's done to that team, what he's done to any team he's coached. You ever want a game plan against a Doc Rivers team? Load up one side of the court. Legit, all they do is run single side actions to one side and say, Giannis, bail me out. And kudos to Giannis. He's trying. His
Giannis
hardest.
has
He's
incredible
trying
numbers.
his absolute hardest to do it. Like he's putting up actual Herculean numbers. And it doesn't, that box score against the last game they played where he had
I think they played Memphis.
Memphis. It was
Yeah.
Memphis because
Yeah.
Jai
It
had
was
like
a
the
Memphis
first
game.
half triple double. He was a 0, a plus minus 0,
Yeah.
and like a 30-point L. Everybody else like minus 27, minus this. And you just see Giannis 0. It's like, dude, he's either gonna ask out or y'all gonna pull a 2018 Cleveland. This is it's
Yeah.
ridiculous how bad it is. Brooke Lopez is not an NBA starting center anymore. Dame usually starts the
It's just
season
so
off bad.
old. Like
but
as a
it's-
team, they're
man.
old.
They're old. And this thing, I think they have decent young guys, but they're in that weird position of I can't waste time on playing you. Right? Like Tyler Smith, I think, has talent. Can I
Yeah.
like really give Tyler Smith 20 minutes to go mess up and figure things out? I can't give AJ Johnson 20 minutes to figure it out. Marjon Beauchamp's way behind schedule, I think, from what they wanted. That's the reason they didn't pick his option up. But like Andre Johnson, like you've got some young talent, but it's am I willing to play them and take the bumps and bruises? Or do I throw
It's
out?
better than this, man?
Yeah, it's gotta be like you're 1-4. And it's a
It just
bad
it
1-4.
doesn't feel right because I feel like the way Giannis is playing,
Oh my God.
and with who Dame is, like
Yeah,
historically.
they should
Man,
be
who
Like-
Dame
finesse
was.
like a
We ain't
50-win
gotta-
season.
You think Dame's washed?
He's not 2018 Dame anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's,
but-
he's still like
yeah,
a
like,
top
he's
Man,
still a
you don't gotta
30
be
player, though.
2018 Dame next to Giannis to win
I
like more than one game.
man, on this team, the way the rest of it looks
They
right
might-
now, like
they
they
might have
kind
to
of
do
do. Like, because I think this is a very pivotal year for basketball. I think a lot of these older players and older teams are really going to get phased out by a lot of these young
You think
teams.
passing of the
Yeah.
torch type year?
Really a passing of the torch here. Because I think OKC is the perfect example of it. Like, they are just young. Like, this is a team that when I was in high school, like 2018, this was a rebuild. Obviously, they retooled. It was a bit of
Yeah.
a different rebuild. But this is like a rebuilding team now seeing the fruits of its labor. Orlando, rebuilding
Yeah.
team seeing the fruits of its labor. A lot of these teams, like Cleveland to a certain extent, they obviously ended up pulling the trigger on the Mitchell trade, but rebuilding team seeing the fruits of its labors. I think this is really that year where you see a lot of those teams that like really stuck it through the mud, really sat down and was like, all right, we're going to suck for a couple of years, pick our moments, get our guys. This is what it is now. I think this is it. And you see a lot of these teams, it's like, yeah, we traded our 2025 pick for Jay Crowder. Yeah, you see what happened when you trade your 2025 pick for Jay Crowder now, bro. Like, you're kind of bad. Like, these aren't good teams, bro. It's not just them. We're going to talk about Denver. Do y'all want to talk about Denver now or do y'all want to
I was gonna say, actually,
I had some words for the
I was-
Milwaukee stuff.
You
Oh,
do?
yeah, go ahead, please.
'cause-
Floor is yours.
Talk your shit.
I think the biggest thing for me was I feel like it was really, really like huge malpractice for them to know what Brook Lopez's like physical status was. Like, cause not only has he had back problems before, so you already knew this was creeping up on the door. He's also just an older big,
Yeah.
and obviously bigs historically don't age well. For you to not even attempt to get a younger alternative, I felt like it was just malpractice. And then, like you said, they have all of these like younger wings,
Yeah.
and the problem is you had a lot of these guys on the roster last season, and you just didn't play them, right? Doc Rivers got on there, they didn't play him, and I feel like that's also an issue because when you watch the Bucks, there's a clear athleticism difference on these other teams, and it shows.
Which is crazy to say when you have
Yeah,
Giannis in
Giannis
your
on
starting
the floor,
five.
but I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like,
the
you
rest
gotta
of the team just old and
They're
slow,
playing,
man.
like, their big offseason acquisition was what? Gary Trent Jr.?
Yeah,
We're being like,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, he provides spacing, but like to Isaiah's point, he's not an athlete. He's not
Yeah, like, he
moving left or
cool.
He
right.
also not a defender like
yeah, and
that.
he's not
Respect-
playing no defense. Like I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Like DeLon Wright's cool. Shout out Torian Prince Baylor product cool. Bobby Port, like AJ Green, Pat Connaughton. Like these are
Yeah.
decent NBA players, but I'm not looking at this saying, man, you got to go band for band with the Celtics in the playoffs.
They're,
dog.
they're
Like,
they're 10 to 15 guys, not 5 to 10 guys. Like
Yeah.
on a
yeah,
roster.
they have a bunch of
on a
like,
roster,
they got a
like-
bunch of those, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you really need like the Celtics, the Thunder. Like Aaron Wiggins is a starter on a ton of teams.
He is
Start on the
Like,
Bucks.
oh my goodness,
yeah.
he might be their third best player.
for
gonna
sure
lie.
start on the Bucks.
Like outside Middleton's hurt obviously right now, but like a lot of these other teams, you look at their bench depth, and it's like, man, like this is where the difference is. Like the difference between Giannis and Shea is nothing. It's that they're both top 5 players in the league. However you want to slice it, your preference,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I mean, Giannis playing way better right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him props for that.
Giannis is a better player than me, but I just mean like
Yeah.
in terms of the value to a team. Like these are both top 5 players, MVP
Yeah.
caliber players.
Fair.
The rest of the roster though, you can see the clear difference. If Shea has a bad night, which he's had some bad nights, Chet got me. J-Dub got me.
Yeah,
And if
Aaron
those two
Wiggins
don't
got
got
me.
me,
Yeah.
Aaron Wiggins got me, Kaysen Wallace got me.
Yeah, Joe
Respect
got
Lou
you.
Dort.
Lou Dort got me.
He
Like,
hit like 5 threes the other
yeah,
day.
it's like they have so much more depth across the board that like a team like the Bucks doesn't have. If we want to move on, a team like the Nuggets,
Yeah, good.
oh my good lord,
yeah,
they don't
I mean,
have.
okay, so on that note, we'll transition from the bottom of the East. We'll go straight to the bottom
to
of
the
the West.
bottom of the West.
Well, bottom of the West, we'll work our way upwards.
Can I get I told you so here?
on the Nuggets?
Oh no, can I get an I told you so here? I
Alright, go
go
for it.
go to it's in my pinned on X. It's on my pinned on X. The DeAndre Williams 2024-2025 agenda. I was nice. I said they weren't going to make it to the second round. That's what I said about the Denver Nuggets. That bench depth is horrible. I don't care how good Nikola Jokic is. It's that team is so poorly built. Calvin Booth deserves to be fired. I don't care if he won you a ring. Get that man out of the office. It's horrible. You have MVP Jokic, and your solution is, I don't know, man. This Russell Westbrook guy. He won an MVP once, you know. He won one.
It is crazy to watch like the smartest basketball players in the league, some smartest ever, continually be like, I can make
Russ work.
Like
No
I
one
can
make Russ work. And
Like,
it has nothing to do with them. It's like, Russ isn't the only issue. Like, I'm not just trying to like egg on Russ here. their entire like Christian Brown has actually stepped up a bit.
Yeah, he's been really
He's
good.
solid.
He's solid though.
He was solid
that's,
last year, too.
that's supposed to be a 7-8 piece.
Mhm.
Respectfully, Peyton Watson is not improved at all. Peyton Watson is not improved. Julian Strother is a guy I was really high on in the draft. He has not stepped up to the point where they thought he was going to where he could really step in and take minutes. And then Jamal Murray looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
it's-
say.
it's
I feel like
horrible.
you're complaining about the end of roster guys. I think it's simply the matter of like your big three that you gave a super max and 2 rookie maxes to is Jamal Murray, MPJ, and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
And I think only one guy there in
Yeah.
that trio is actually holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, I will say, with the Nuggets, like the thing they've always had going for them, like in the Jokic era, is their starting five is just flat out better than everybody else's by like a pretty decent margin. So even like early on when they didn't really have as much depth, like they were playing Jeff Green back up 5 minutes.
Because you had a real trio. Like, that's why
Yeah.
that's why you pay them maxes.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, it was a real. They had a big four.
Yeah, with
Aaron
Gordon. Yeah, shout out Aaron
They really had a. It was a.
that's why he
lower-
got paid.
It was like a lower stature big four because it was Jokic and then these guys do
everyone
their
else,
job.
These
but
three guys who
they
fit
had
really
the
well
yeah,
around
they
them.
had the depth, and I'm to me like this is why the depth becomes so important though, because at some point or another, something's gonna go wrong with one of these guys. Like if Jamal Murray, God forbid, gets hurt, like if MPJ does get hurt, and these guys aren't playing well, but
I mean, he just came down with a concussion.
yeah, like
Yeah.
You mean to tell me like Julian Strother's got to play 35 minutes a night now?
Yeah.
They don't have depth.
Yeah, like Peyton Watson's got to step in and take 12 shots a game for me. That's not working. It's just not.
The roster construction is really interesting. To put it lightly, because they have a very athletic roster. Like around, like you look at the bench guys, it's nothing but athletes. Peyton Watson's a really good athlete. Russell Westbrook, even at this stage of his career, is still a really good athlete. Christian Brown's a good athlete. Right? They have all these super athletic guys, but you just have no volume 3-point shooters. Like it's dead.
Which was a problem
MPJ
last year, by the
yeah.
way, which it was covered up.
Yeah, they were one of the better shooting teams, but they didn't shoot a lot of
yeah,
them.
their volume was low last year too.
I think
but
they were bottom 10.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been low all 3 years that they've
Mhm.
been like a contending team.
they
It's
just been
and
super efficient.
And again, that goes back like to my point of like we love these superstars and how they can cover up a lot of your flaws. When they decide that they're human, like Jokic was horrid from 3 to end that series last year.
He was.
against him.
He was.
I think he missed. It was like 0 for 9. I want to say
he like barely hit threes.
He went
that whole
2 for
series.
11, I think, in Game 7.
Yeah,
he
it
was
was-
bad shooting the whole playoffs.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
exactly
from
like the
three.
3-point shooting
Yeah.
just left him, and like we know Nikola Jokic has amazing touch. He's a good shooter, but you're a human being. It's gonna happen in those moments.
Think about it,
You've
3-point
got to
shooting
have the
left the
guys
whole
that can be
team.
able to come in and, all right, Jokic might miss 4 of them threes tonight. I can get 2 from him and 2 from him, and they just don't have that. They don't have that at all.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
the issue last
now the
year.
issue
They
becomes if
downgraded.
Jokic is 2 for 11 and Jamal Murray's 1 for 10 and MPJ's 3 for 11. Where are you getting any type of offense from?
I mean, that's the problem. So like we'll transition to that. So talk about the bottom 5 in the East, bottom 5 in the West right now. I feel like it is kind of a unique mix of teams that I think are trying to be bad and then
Yeah.
teams that are just old.
Yeah.
Because bottom 5 teams, 2-3, 2-3, 2-3. You got Clippers, San Antonio, Denver.
Yeah.
I feel like Clippers and Denver are just teams that were like, man, like their window in Denver's case, they capitalize on it,
Yeah.
but their window's kind of closed on them, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
You're dealing with injuries. The guys you paid aren't performing to the level you thought they'd
I still,
perform.
like Denver's still a playoff. Like, you have Nikola Jokic. You're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
but-
they'll make the play-in at worst.
Yeah,
I'd be
it's just
shocked if they
their to me at least, like the expectations I had for them, and like Nuggets fans were getting on me for no. I'm like, dude, like this is just the case of your roster. Like y'all can't fix Russell Westbrook. This is what your roster is. A team like the Clippers, you look at them. I thought the Clippers were going to be better than what a lot of people expected, but there was a clear ceiling on what 35-year-old James Harden can lead you.
Yeah.
So
Which, by the
Uno
way,
FC, and he's
they're
hooping.
playing with fire.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
playing with absolute fire right now.
yeah,
He is hooping.
No. I'm saying in the sense of like he's playing 37,
Yeah,
38
you
minutes
Oh
a
yeah,
game.
no, it's also it's also
Like,
nasty in that
they are
regard.
like
Yeah,
and he is the only part of their team that's
Yeah.
working.
I mean, he
And-
looks. You look
Him
at
and
the,
Zubac.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout
shout
out
out
Zoo
Zubac.
Chamberlain.
Zubac.
Man. Shout out
Yeah.
Zoo Chamberlain. But you look at you look at his clutch numbers, right? Like, I think he's first in the NBA in clutch turnovers right now. Like, all their games have been clutch games basically
Yeah.
Mhm.
throughout the season. Excuse me. And you look at it, and it's like, man, he's gassed. Like, he's genuinely gassed. And if I'm gassed, 5 games into the season,
Yeah,
we
it's
get to
bad,
game
man.
like when Kawhi comes back, even then it's still going to be like he's going to need like 10 to 15 games to really get back into I'm Kawhi.
I ain't gonna lie, is that
shape.
a win or an if?
It's kind of
It's a win.
I want to say it's a win.
I can't
really do.
imagine we get into like I don't think from now till April Kawhi Leonard will
I mean,
not
yeah,
play
he'll
basketball.
play another basketball.
So then
game for
he
the
will come
Clippers.
back this season, but will
It's like
it be in
when-
time for it to matter?
I
That's
will
the
say
real
if
question.
it's an if, well, that organization's gonna get fined. But
Yeah.
I think I have to approach it as a win at this point. Like I can't say like, oh, Kawhi is just he's out for the season. Like the
Yeah, but like
expectation
if he
honestly,
let's say he comes back like slightly after, or let's go slightly before Christmas. I ain't gonna lie, is that like not too late?
they're still alive.
that'd be what, like 20.
I ain't gonna- dude, do we think-
something like that?
No. Slightly before Christmas?
It's like
So-
Christmas
game
is about 30
22,
games
right?
in. Christmas is
Yeah,
like 30 games in.
yeah. So oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah,
25 ish.
about 25-ish games.
I ain't gonna lie, dude. James Harden is my favorite player ever, bruh. Do we think he can sustain 30 games of this?
I think you can go like 10 and 15.
Yeah, you got to win. Let's go to the Christmas deadline, right? They got to win 10 games for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They got to at least win 10.
If you're
you
10
can stay,
and 15,
yeah,
about 25 games into the season.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm
and
worried
Kawhi
about
comes back as
Bro's health,
Kawhi.
though.
No, but if Kawhi comes back as Kawhi, if I'm assuming you're getting Kawhi Leonard and you're like 10 and 15, you're like a little below 500, they're alive.
I mean, that's kind of the Kawhi thing is also a huge if because he's also kind of been
Yeah.
a slow starter the last couple
Yeah.
years as well.
That-
So it's
that's
the-
why I
that's the
said like,
bigger
I think
issue.
you need like even if Kawhi comes back, well, you got me saying if now. When he comes back, he's gonna need about 10-ish games
Yeah,
to really
like,
get
dog, they
back
might just
into
be
a rhythm.
cooked.
So yeah, it
the
might be too
timeline,
big of a
yeah.
hole to climb out of.
I had them out the playoffs. I had them as the 11th seed. I want to say
Mm-hmm.
11 or 12 seed. So this is about where I thought they'd be. But to your point about like a lot of these older teams, you look at teams like on the flip side of that, like y'all see the gear, y'all know where we're from, y'all know we rep. You see teams like the Houston Rockets, like a team that very well probably should be
Fifth seed in the West, 3-2
seed.
record.
gonna be the 3 seed after tonight.
Mm.
Gonna be 3 seed. After
They,
tonight.
okay, so you know what? Let's transition to that. Top 3 seeds in the West right now. You got OKC, Phoenix, Golden State. None of us surprised at OKC. 2 and 3 are both surprising to me.
Yeah,
I-
Phoenix was a bit surprising. I knew they were gonna be good, better than advertised, but 4-1 to start the season.
It's a very good start.
They look a lot better, I just think, process wise
Yeah, they
Mhm.
do.
than I expected. Shout
They're
out to
also like I think 8th defensively. If I
yeah,
can
shout out Bud,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
team.
Shout out
super good
Bud.
defensive team. Surprisingly,
And I still think that Yusuf Nurkic is just a bad defensive center, and they're doing
Yeah,
that.
he is.
with
They're
him
working.
there. Like, and it's a lot of it is, and to Isaiah's point of can he sustain this? Kevin Durant's playing the 5 a lot for them.
yeah,
he is.
Like
he is.
he's playing center. Like, and
Yeah,
I'm
they
not,
don't have a
not
backup
like we used to
5.
joke and say
They don't
center. Yeah.
not at all.
And he's quite frankly, he's their best 5.
Yeah.
He
Like,
is.
he's their best 5 at the moment.
Yeah.
Like that lineup they run of Tyus, Beal, Royce Book, and KD. That's their best 5.
Yeah.
And it's a great 5, but like that's a old school Warriors death lineup 5.
It is.
That's not a I need to play this 28, 30 minutes.
That's not a lineup you run 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Not at all.
they kind of have to right now to stay
Yeah.
in games and win them. And it's like this
And
is
and again, this
bad.
kind of goes back to our point where it's like if you're leaning heavily on guys like KD, guys like James Harden, and it's game 5,
That 8.
game 6 in the season,
man, it's
is you got like 76 games to go. Whew, like
That's why I think a lot of these younger teams, I really think the Rockets are going to shock a lot of people that are outside of the city with how good they're going to be because they have that depth behind them. Like,
Yeah.
you
they
can
can
sustain
le-
injury.
yeah, like they can legit go 10 deep. Like, I actually have a 10-man rotation, I believe, and it's like Tari Easton came in yesterday and gave us 15
In like 18 minutes.
and 18 minutes. Like when Dylan Brooks,
All of our wings play good.
yeah, like
yeah.
like-
Rockets have the, in my opinion, best group of young wings in the NBA. Is that
Yeah,
a hot
I would,
take?
I would agree. If we're just talking only wings. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would
Wings.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not,
It's
not
weird 'cause,
young
like,
talent. Not nothing crazy.
I don't think per se we have like a superstar wing.
No.
But I think like you had the group.
We
together.
have like 4
Like
starting
like
calibers.
Yeah,
role
it
player
is.
wings. Like I feel like we got the best like group of young.
like it is legitimately like Isaiah just said, 4 starting caliber wing.
I agree.
I want to like touch back on the Phoenix stuff. I think one thing that I do think is impressive and that will sustain is the increase in 3-point volume while still being efficient.
yeah,
Because that was like
that's
one of the huge things like coming into the off season
Mhm.
and season was like, hey, you guys are really good at shooting threes, you just don't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same problem we had like with the Pelicans and like some of these other teams that are good 3-point shooters that are low volume. We were talking about Denver too, that are like low volume. They did that and they're like I think what 11th or 10th now.
Yeah.
which I think that's good. I will say the one
I mean, they've
thing-
always been good at shooting.
Yeah.
It's like what you said.
yeah, because they
It's
have
just-
elite shooters. They
a
just
ton
are
of
also like in
elite
between
Which,
games.
by the way, I feel like that's something we're seeing across the league in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like 3-point volume is just up.
man.
Like it's just up
Do y'all,
across.
do y'all
the
want to
league.
talk about this?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
actually have
yeah,
a
we
real-
got it.
crazy.
I want to ask y'all this question because it's been presented. We're all on Twitter with it.
Mhm.
X. I bet we're all on X. We see the Jeets. We're not even gonna say that. We all see them though. Like, is this bad for the league? I don't think it is.
I don't think it's bad for the
I
league.
don't think it's bad for the league at all. But like Anthony Edwards is taking 14 a game.
See, that's
Yeah,
bad
it's
for the
13.
league.
It's kind of
My thing with that, dog, he's shooting 43%.
He's shooting 40% though. Like, yeah,
put
put
him
him
on
up.
and be like, hey, Anthony Edwards, you're just like putting up the best 3-point shooting season ever currently.
Yeah,
But, maybe you should take like
Nah,
2
what
more
did-
minutes
y'all
a
see his
game.
press conference? The post game interview.
I mean,
hey man, F him.
I mean, that's real.
Man,
Bro,
what?
I watched that clip and I could tell what he was gonna say before they
But
even
yeah,
asked the
before
question.
you-
Bro.
Yeah, all right.
It's like you ever seen that? Man, this might be too much of a tangent. You ever seen that that clip of that Astros fan after the World Championship
yeah.
parade? Oh, yes, bro. Or they're like,
Yeah,
what would you say to all the
Exactly
people?
what
It's
he was
like,
gonna say,
you could
bro.
see in his eyes what he was gonna
It's
say.
like, why would
man.
you ask him of all people this
Yeah,
question?
so same
But
thing
yeah.
with Ant. Like you gonna ask Ant why he's shooting threes. Like,
but it
come on.
across the league though, like it is kind of, it's startling to see at times. I think, and this is the one fear I do have in regards to the league. When the Celtics won and the Analytics won tweets all
Analytics
dropped,
won.
shout out to like Analytics won when that was the whole thing. Was fearful that some teams were just gonna look at it from a blanket perspective of, oh, we just got to put more of them up.
Yeah.
And not how they got to getting more of them up, which is having 5 dudes that can dribble, pass, shoot, run an effective motion offense, and consistently get open looks. Like they're not just chucking the
Mhm.
chuck.
I agree.
You go look at Celtics games. That's why I'm like, man, I can't. When people say like, I can't stand watching the Celtics, they play beautiful basketball. Like they play legitimately.
That's like that.
beautiful.
How you would want.
Yeah, like you teach kids
basketball
that
to play,
basketball.
yeah.
5 out motion offense, swing, be unselfish with it, find the best look. They play flawless, fundamentally sound basketball. They're just doing it at the highest level with some of the best talent we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Some of these other teams though, like you see them and it's like, bruh, y'all don't get it at all.
On that point, though, I feel like that's why I really push back against the high volume 3-point attempts are destroying the league, because I feel like it completely ignores the fact that these teams are not generating these threes in the same way.
Yeah,
Like
they
not
are.
at all. Like you can't watch a Minnesota game and then watch like a Phoenix game
Yeah.
and be like, oh, this is the same offense.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you're just complaining to complain at that point. Like these teams are all individually different. Like every single superstar in the league right now has like a drastically different
Yeah.
skill set. Like if you just want to go bigs, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, none of them
totally
play the
different
same.
Players.
All completely different players, and none of them are high volume 3-point shooters. Like Embiid's like the closest one, and he takes like what, like four,
I think.
maybe. So I just feel like I don't know. That's like an empty complaint to me.
Yeah, it
That's
really
the it's the same. Like
we want to see more dunks.
yeah,
It's gonna get 'em
It's the
still.
same vibe as like, oh, there's no defense anymore. It's like, bro, like,
Yeah, like you're just not watching.
you're not watching.
Yeah,
it.
I'm
which
really watching the
that's
game.
something. That's 2 things y'all said I want to touch on. One with the volume stuff. A lot of these teams that are like currently highest volume in the league, they're also like the highest efficiency in the league. So it makes sense as to why they're shooting a lot of them. Like if you're making them, take them.
Take 'em.
Right? It's the second most efficient shot besides a dunk. So why would you not take them, right? And then with like the no defense stuff, league average offensive rating right now is 113.3. League average last year was 115, and the year before that was also 115. So offense is actually down so far. So
It's
like
small
people
sample,
are
but
getting
yeah.
small sample, yeah. But like people
I
are
think even if you
actively
go-
getting their wish.
Yeah,
That's true.
even if you go to the other years, like I think the Golden State years, it was about 117 ish. I might be wrong on that. So like defenses are adapting to the idea
Yeah.
of like,
They are.
Because one, if you want everybody to shoot threes, one guy's going to be the worst on the floor at shooting threes. And I'm going to shout out to, we're speaking about the Phoenix Suns, shout out to Ryan Dunn. I have zero clue
Yeah, he
how
knocked
you
that
became a
down.
three-point
Might be the
shooter.
craziest outlier development I've ever seen.
Ever seen him.
across
It was 4 months. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is a totally
It
different
took him
player.
a week to shoot more threes than he did his entire
it
college
was-
tenure.
But even him, like in the transformation he had, you go watch that Clippers Suns game, they left him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they left him. They had to sub him
Yeah.
out for Grayson Allen because it's like, yeah, you're a better shooter than you were, but you still ain't no shooter to me. Like you got to prove you can hit him in these moments still.
Mhm.
Like that's still going to be the case for these defenses, unless you are the Celtics who can throw basically at any time 5 dudes out there that can shoot. Like they're the
Yeah.
only team that doesn't pump fake ghost. That's one thing like the rest of these teams do when they try and run these offenses. It's like, yeah, you're not as effective as them. You don't run their offense. because you got a bunch of dudes out there that, that's an open three. They don't really want to take
Yeah,
it.
that's also why the Celtics is just like so far ahead of everyone in attempts. Because like, when they get the ball, like they're gonna shoot.
They're gonna shoot them.
Like they're gonna shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Like it's no
Also,
yeah.
it helps to be extremely good defense because
I know.
you get
Yeah,
more
transition.
turnovers, get more steals, get more possessions, get more rebounds. I mean, that's it's how the
Yeah.
game goes. Game is cyclical. There's an elephant in the room. A team at the 3rd seed in the West that is 4-1.
Let's talk about this fake team, man.
I was gonna say because I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think all 3 of us have this team missing the playoffs.
Can I read out their wins?
Go for it.
Game 1, Portland. Who cares? Game 2, Utah. Really?
0-5.
Game 3, the Clippers. Harden's old. Let's be real, man. Games 4 and 5, the Pelicans with Zion on a minutes restriction. This is so fake. And by the way, they lost to the Clippers. By the way, they did lose that game. This is such a fake team, bro. They're so like Lindy Waters getting his game off. I don't care about this team.
Buddy Hill getting his game.
Buddy Hill getting his game off, bro. Draymond hadn't played.
I mean, they're doing it without
like,
Steph. Does that move
Buddy
you at all?
shooting 50%.
No.
No, but like, does it move you? They're 2-0 without Steph, possibly
No.
3-0
They-
after tonight. We'll see.
2-1 after tonight. They're 2-0 because they played the New Orleans Pelicans, who are also battling an insane amount. Herb is
Yeah.
out, CJ's out, DeJounte Murray's out,
Yeah, he
and
was
Zion's
out
on a
coming
minutes
in.
restriction. Like they have played.
I'm not gonna lie, Zion's on more than a minutes restriction. He's having issues.
Yeah,
Like,
he just hasn't been himself.
But
He
he's
is not
like
himself at
he's
all.
like a notorious slow starter also. So it
He
kind
is.
of
That's
They've
true.
played bad teams.
Mhm.
The one half decent team they played, they lost to.
yeah. They're also shooting like really
Yeah.
good, and they're shooting a lot on top of shooting really good. Like Buddy's shooting like 50% from 3
Is
on like 9 attempts.
I mean,
Yeah,
is
Buddy
that,
Hield's a
is
good
that
shooter.
that crazy?
Yeah,
though?
Buddy Hield's
like
a
Buddy
shooter.
Hield's an extremely good shooter.
He's a really good shooter. He's like one of those shooters that routinely starts off the season like really hot and then tails off.
But how much does he tail off?
Funny, it's a lot.
It low could be dropping like
Really?
34. It
But
low-
bro,
yeah,
bro,
yeah,
okay,
he
okay,
gets
but
second half of
he's
the
in like
stats.
convos like statistically. He's like top 15-ish ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
he's got the volume for it. But like,
Yeah.
you kind of look at Buddy Hield as a overall shooter. I will say this is the one time he's played in a system that is generating
Yeah,
him
just
these type
yeah.
of looks and
Yeah.
kind of like he's playing the Clay role. That's what he is.
Yeah.
And one thing he's better at now than Clay was in that Golden State system is that one dribble pull up, and it's something that
For
just
sure.
Yeah.
left Clay that last year in Golden State that Buddy Hield can do now, and it's the reason he's been a bit more effective than what Clay was.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest though, you'll see it tonight. They gonna run him off of every single
Yeah.
screen. And like Ime has a plan. Ime, please don't let me down. I'm writing checks for you right now, bro. But I guarantee, bro, like that split action, blah 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 blah. It's not working. This team is so fake to me. Draymond hasn't punched nobody yet. Lindy Waters is their starting point guard right now.
I'm not gonna lie,
Buddy
this is
Hield
so
getting-
nasty. This podcast is gonna release after the game tonight.
bro.
If we lose,
oh
if
my
we lose,
god,
I promise you, if
This
we
is
lose,
gonna be so
nah,
embarrassing.
if we lose tonight, I'm cutting this from the pod. I promise you, I am.
we gotta
We gotta
It's
edit out.
gonna be just a
We gotta edit
nasty
out.
jump to whatever the next segment is. But bro, like
Yeah.
this gonna be. Their next games are. They play us tonight, then they get to go play
Mhm.
DC. Congratulations. Then they have Boston, Cleveland, OKC, Dallas, Memphis, Clippers again.
That's a rough stretch.
They gonna lose
That's
a
a rough
lot.
stretch.
Yeah.
Like this is not a real 4-1 team to me.
Yeah, I will say with the Warriors too. I think the thing that's even bigger of a shock than the shooting is the fact that they're actually like one of the best rebounder teams in the league.
And that's so fake too.
Which I ain't gonna lie, dude. They're playing like 4-guard lineups. I don't know how much.
They've been like elite defensively this year. Elite
it's
rebounding
real easy to be
wise.
elite defensively against the Portland Trailblazers and Utah
To be
Jazz.
fair, I saw this stat today because I was looking at some betting lines for Jalen Green tonight.
23 and a half.
23.5, right? And a lot of people were
Yeah,
like,
maybe
take the under. No shooting guard has scored over 23 against the
I mean,
Warriors.
look at the-
I think it's just no
Right?
guard.
Look at the guards. They
yeah, it was like no guard.
they played Scoot,
Which I
Anthony
was like-
Simons, Keontae George.
Colin Sexton.
Colin Sexton, James Harden,
Jordan
who scored
Clarkson.
23.
He had 23 and 12.
He scored.
Like, it was-
23
He had 23 and
exactly.
12. He scored 23
It's like-
exactly.
Oh, that's such a cherry pick,
Man, like, come on,
bro.
bro. Like, and he had like 12 assists too. Like, come on,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
I ain't like he did. She like 10 for 20.
Okay, so we think so we think Warriors 3 seed strength of schedule type of thing.
It's
It's not real.
so
Not real.
fake to me.
I mean, just, yeah, because to maintain a top 3 seed, you're looking at like 55 wins. I don't think anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah,
even the most.
It'd be hard pressed if they get
Yeah.
55. They have 46
I had them
last
as
year.
the 9 seed, I think. Maybe the 10. Like, they're
I
just
might have to
not-
eat crow on a missing the plan because I fear the Clippers might
Yeah,
might
Clippers
overtake
gonna be a
them.
little worse than them. But this is just such a, like, I'm looking at this next stretch of games for them. They got one win in there, and that's DC. And no, like, they don't play around with the Wizards now. Like, don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I ain't like they like
Don't-
been sneaking.
You know what?
You know what? Hey,
At DC.
I was gonna say let's transition to this because we were talking about team stats, team predictions, team standings. Let's talk about like what we think's gonna happen with the individual awards this year. This is mostly still predictive because it is only a 5-game sample size, so you can't be like drawing major conclusions off of that. But hey, the Wizards got some rookies, man. Like rookie of the year.
They got a rookie.
You not feeling Keyshawn George and
Alex our number 1 EPM. I don't know.
He cool.
Is he actually?
I think he's up there.
I think he is because he has been really, really good defensively.
He has, bro.
I
think he's number 1 EPM.
He's averaging like 3 blocks a game right now.
Yeah, like Alex Star has looked hellacious defensively.
Yeah, offensively he still looks.
Bub Carrington,
but
I think we have to talk about Bub Carrington. He's looked pretty damn good, man.
I mean, we could talk about him, but he's still like Bub's probably their best rookie to me, but like he still has shown so many flaws to me. And shout out Miles. I've shouted you out in every single podcast now to make me mad. But like it's noticeable to me like, okay, these were the flaws. And I think we're way too quick on every prospect to just say that'll be fixed.
Yeah.
I can't point and say like, oh, he's weak. He just has to get stronger. That's not a guarantee that he'll just get strong. Like, you believe that most of these guys will get in the NBA weight program, meal plan. They're going to put some weight on, but, like, getting strong, like, it's a big difference to just
to make an actual legitimate functional difference, yeah. Because obviously your body gets stronger from, like, 19 to 21.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, to make it, like, a tangible, like, not everyone goes on a Giannis arc, man.
He's the only one. Like, he's the only one. And you can look at a lot of these dudes, like, their frames usually present what they're gonna be like. Okay, he's gonna fill out. Like he's got broad shoulders, long arms. He's gonna add more weight to him. And even if it doesn't show physically, like Kevin Durant's a perfect example. It doesn't really show on KD that he's 245, but it's pretty easy to see like he's gonna put weight on. Like he's gonna hit 240. He's gonna look different, but he's gonna hit 240 though. Like he's definitely gonna put some weight on. Some of these dudes, I'm like, you got a bird chest. Like you built like me. Like you built like me with 6'8", where like I know what this leads to, bro. I've lived this life. I'm just 5'8" and you're 6'8", bro. Like we know what this happens, bro. Like you're gonna be a $195. They gonna lie and say you 210, and the world's gonna keep pushing, bro. Like we know what's happening here.
So who's your rookie of the year?
Donovan Clingan.
That's mine too.
That's actually a really good pick.
Donovan Clingan, man.
It's mine
Donovan
too.
Clingan.
Yeah, I'm glad this class is so hard.
So bad. It's so. We can be honest. It's a bad class.
Which we've been saying. I feel like for a full count.
I mean, I don't know if I fully agree that it's just bad. It's just like there's no, like usually when you have like rookie of the year talks, there's always someone or a couple or a few guys, right, that you can lean to and say, oh, they're gonna get a lot of usage on a bad team. They're gonna put up decent counter stats.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of like bigs drafted and like rotational guys drafted. So that's not the case, right? Like Ricochet is playing a role on the Hawks. He's not going to get 30 usage on the Hawks. Like he's not doing that, right?
He's
like,
playing well though.
Yeah, he is.
Say.
He is. But he's going to put up role player numbers because he's playing a role, right? Sarge is the big. He's not getting that much usage either.
Offensively.
Yeah, he's not getting that much usage, right? He's on a team that's trying to win games or trying to be a playoff team. He's like the 8th or 9th man right now currently, right? So then you look at like the guys who are starting, it's like Edey, playoff team.
Clingan.
They're trying
like,
to win.
You can make a legitimate argument.
Backup big.
Yeah.
You can make a legitimate argument like Jalen Wells has probably been the most impactful.
Yeah.
Like he's playing legit rotation minutes for Memphis.
Yeah.
And like he's in their rotation for real. Like Jalen Wells, Edey.
Yeah.
Like you got those guys. You got. I know, like Ricochet's actually playing a role. Like you can say Ryan Dunn's rookie of the year, and nobody's looking at you like
playing a role.
Yeah, like he's playing a really good role. But like to Isaiah's point, it's not any of those rookies like where like Cade and Jalen got thrown into the fire, and it's like this is your team, though.
Okay,
you're
but
gonna be bad, but this is your team,
bro. There's no Cade or Jalen's in this draft.
No, exactly. Like the class stunk. Like the class absolutely stunk.
I mean, I feel like it's a mixture of both.
The class thing. Like it's just thing. Like I said,
look at the teams that were top 3. The Hawks were
yeah, like they didn't need any.
They were a playing team.
Okay, so
they're picking, and then the Rockets, we were like a borderline playing. We won 41 games. We were top 3, and then the team that was 2 that actually is bad, they took a big, right? You're saying Bub? I think he's leading the league or leading the rookies in points right now.
No,
and he was
Jalen
like,
Wells is or points per game or total points?
Per game.
Yeah, it is Bub at 10.5. Oh my goodness.
Bro, I'm sorry. This class stinks.
Yeah,
this class stinks, bro. You can't get this off. You can't get this off. This class stinks.
It is just a bad class. Like, and again, like this is something that we had been saying for a very long time. Like I remember like being at Summer League, going and seeing these. I'm like, bro, these dudes aren't. This is a class that was a year behind development wise, and it's the reason why I said before the draft, I said before the year started, you're gonna see a lot of these teams like Brooklyn's gonna start losing games really soon. Chicago's gonna start losing games really soon. Because Matas Buzelis was my preseason rookie of the year pick. I think he's played like 12 minutes this year or something like
Yeah.
that. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like these teams are looking and saying, "All right, you're a rotation piece. Man, I better get Ace Bailey. I better get Cooper Flag. I better get Kaman Malak. Like I better get one of these dudes."
I ain't gonna lie, I will say with Chicago though, they might be fake good. Like there
Yeah.
might be
They're
a
a top
chance that
6
they're
seed right
fake
now.
good.
They're the 5th seed.
Like I think with Brooklyn right now, their guards are just playing really well, but they're gonna come down to earth and they're gonna make sure that they tank because they traded for their all of the pick rights back or whatever for 25 and 26. So at a certain point, even if their guys are still playing good, you're gonna see like the fake ankle injuries, fake knee injuries.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna make sure
Yeah.
that they're
The
bad.
Danny Ainge.
Chicago don't do that though. Like I don't look at Chicago and think, oh, they're gonna start losing games on purpose.
They still have pieces.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Zach LaVine's still
And
an
they have
all-star.
good
Zach LaVine's
players.
still a good
He's
player.
really
He
good
is.
player.
Like there's a chance that we come back in like March and they're like the 10th seed or the 9th seed.
I was having a convo with I forgot
Wouldn't
who.
be shocked about that.
So somebody told me this is like somebody has to make the play in the East.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all
like,
trying to
someone
lose.
has to make
Somebody
it.
has to make the play in the
Someone
East.
has to
bro.
make
Like,
it.
Someone's gonna be the 10 seed. Someone's gonna be the 9 seed.
Yo, my hot take before the season, I don't think I said this on like a podcast or anything. I said there might be a sub 30 win team that makes the play in the East.
We can. Ooh,
There might be.
Nah,
bad-
it's gonna be low 30s.
It might be like 31.
It's gonna be like 34 or 35, but it's
Nah,
gonna be.
it was
low.
34 last year.
It was 30. Yeah, 34
yeah,
was. the
yeah.
10
It'll
seed
probably
last year.
repeat.
It was 34 last year. I think they're worse.
Because there's a lot
I'm
of
so
bad.
I
teams.
think they're worse.
You got the Pistons are gonna be bad. The Raptors are gonna be bad. The Wizards are gonna be bad. The Nets, we assume, are eventually gonna be bad.
The Nets are gonna make sure they're bad.
Who else you got? Really, Hornets probably gonna be a good team. It's really gonna be those four. I think it might be. Nah, because I think a team like the Hornets will probably have like 35.
Yeah,
So I guess,
They
yeah,
might-
I guess it could
that's
be like
what I was gonna say.
36.
The reason why they'll still round out to about 35 is because there's gonna be such a huge arms race to tank.
Yeah.
There's gonna be like 5 or 6 teams that are like flirting with being historically bad. Like y'all mentioned the Jazz earlier. They're 0-5. They have a negative 17 net rating right now. And I think we're gonna get to like January, February. It's gonna be like 3 or 4 teams that are flirting with like negative.
There's no
10.
shot they keep Laurie, right? Like this has to be.
They
like,
just
I-
extended him. They
I
can't
get
trade him.
that you could trade him before the deadline.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
Is it a full
it's-
year or is it?
He signed his extension
No,
in the offseason.
The extension trade, I believe, is like January 15th. I want to say.
No, I thought it was July.
Yeah, I think
Nah,
it's
it's not.
only max
It's not-
extensions to
no,
where you
it's
can't
not.
do a
Oh,
year.
really?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that they can move him if
So I
Let me
want to
just check
say
it
that
out.
it's January, which I'm glad in that case.
I can check it out real quick.
like I'm like 90% sure. Like they
I appreciate
can't appreciate it. We got the research in the back, man.
Oh, no, that's the deadline.
for-
That's
the
the
trade
extension
deadline?
deadline.
That's the extension deadline.
Yeah, I think Laurie's wasn't a
I'm gonna look up his spot
Supermax.
track real quick. He's trade eligible. February 7th.
February.
Oh,
so that's
right
before the
before the
yeah, it's
deadline.
right before the deadline.
Right before the
Yeah, it's
deadline.
like he's
Yeah.
still eligible to be traded before the deadline.
Yeah, and that's
We got
like
research
right
in the
when
back.
one of these
Appreciate
teams
you,
who are
bro.
like a piece away are probably going to be looking and saying like,
As,
"Hey, we're
bro,
Laurie
like
Markkanen
because if they get
extending."
to February and they're at like roughly it'd be like what, like 7-29 or something. It probably might be
Nah,
worse than that.
February that's like 50 games into the year.
Oh, good lord, are they
Yeah.
gonna be on a 7-win pace for February at this point? Like, really? Do we
No,
think
they'll
so?
probably start snaking
No.
some fake wins in there.
They'll
but-
have like 15 wins. by
Nah,
February.
they've already started the Laurie fake ankle injuries. Like they've started the
Yeah.
tanks early. Like
Yeah.
they're very adamant on like we're
and they're also
Cooper
planning
Flag
a
is
West.
gonna
they,
be
team.
in
they
Utah.
want Cooper Flag.
like Cooper
in
Flag
Utah.
belongs in Utah. They've made it very adamant. Like we're at least
Yeah.
getting Dylan Harper. Like,
I ain't
they
gonna
know
lie,
what
we're
they
talking
want.
about like our teams being good fake. Are we sure the Jazz not about to have a historically bad season?
fake bad season.
like a
bruh.
fake bad season.
Because I'm not gonna lie, you look, and I think one of the things that they have going again, or well, for them in this case, because we're talking about them being historically bad, is they're playing in the West, and in the West, there's like 2 tanking teams. It's them, and it honestly, I can't even say Portland because
like, Portland's kinda
bad,
fake
but
good.
they're like they have
Yeah.
good players though, and
I
they're
mean,
not
like-
they're not trying to lose games. They're just not as good as the other teams
I
in
mean,
the West.
they're,
I think
they're,
they'll-
they're going into the season with the intent to tank, though. I will say, though, I feel like we're getting back to the teams a little bit. I want to try to focus back on these individual awards.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Let's get back. Let's get
So this one, even despite what Vegas says, I think it's up in the air. Defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I think so far in the season it's pretty set in stone. If the
Yes.
awards
Who do you
ended,
got?
the awards ended today, Chet would walk away unanimous.
Okay,
I
Chet's
hate
my
talking
pick as
good
well.
About the Thunder, man.
Chet's my
I hate
Chet's my pick as well.
I hate like giving them credit, but the
Yeah,
way Chet
he's
is
gonna
played,
win Depoy, bro.
and I'll say this: I am a firm believer that awards are about moments. Like you have to really lay out. You can have the counting stats, you can have all this. You got to really have moments. He's got the early season moment of
She got 2 of them
that
already,
game
man.
against Wemby.
Yep.
That play he had where like
He
he
blocked 2
stuffed
people.
Sohan. He stuck. That's a crazy play to have.
He got
but,
the
like,
early season
point
moment
to
with
that.
what he did on Denver when he got the
yeah, the stop and the dunk
blocking
on the
and the
other
dunk,
man.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
those are the moments you got to have to where like when they put that highlight reel together into the season, you can't have just like 3 of them plays. You got to have like 10, 12 of them. He's in line already to really have a couple of those. They're probably gonna be the number 1 defense. He's gonna be the
Yeah,
reason they have the
yeah.
number 1 defense. So
What's
far in
their
the season,
defensive
it's
rating
probably
right now?
Chet. I know it. I remember.
It's 96.
I'm gonna say
man.
you can act like you can act like you got to look at it. We know
It's
it.
96,
It's
man.
ridiculous.
96 is ridiculous. Yeah,
Um,
I'm sorry, bro. If you have a 96 defensive rating and you're the best defensive player on that team, you're gonna win deep.
Yeah,
So
that's usually how it goes.
this is my conspiracy theory. All right, I do not think the NBA wants to let Wemby have a year where he doesn't walk away with an award.
I said
right?
that on the last
So
pod.
hear me out, right? Hear me out. One rookie of the year last year, right? Depoy is gonna be hard to not give it to Chet, right? So guess what award he's like?
He's not
minus
winning
500 award.
He's not gonna win MIP.
He's
if-
winning MIP.
If he wins
I'm
MIP,
glad, but he's not even.
he's not even improving. That's the funny
Yeah, he's
part.
not. His stats are worse.
I think
Like,
they're
throw the award
going to
away.
give him MIP because I think the Spurs are going to have a better record, and I think his stats
Probably
are gonna
what
be better.
4 games?
I think the
They
problem.
had
with
17
the,
games last year, bro.
They gonna win
they're
like-
winning like 30.
They're gonna win like 25.
They're winning 30.
They're going to. I
They,
promise
they
you.
might put.
I promise,
Bro,
I'm telling you right now. The
Okay,
top
I'm gonna tell you right
12 in the West are gonna punch down so hard at him that he's not gonna have the resume. I really think to really definitively win awards. If they do win like 33, 35 games, yeah, okay, cool. Like it's enough for me to say like it's Wemby. We get it, bro. I think they're gonna be bad. I don't think he's gonna help his case at all with a lot of the shots he's taking.
Yeah,
It's gonna like DPOY is a different one. His defensive impact, it might end up rounding out as the season goes on, right? Like him versus Chet seems to be what it's gonna come down to. And then obviously Rudy's gonna be there regardless, but
They're not going to give it to.
they're
Rudy
not gonna
again.
give it to him.
Yeah,
But Rudy will be in the.
Dude,
Dude, he-
Actually, I'm gonna lie, Mobley might take his spot. low-key.
Yeah,
They
I-
might. They
yeah.
might
I
sneak
was
Mobley.
think-
looking,
Make it a unicorn. race.
and I think
Maybe.
I can see that.
Cleveland's gonna hover around
Bam.
top 5 again.
Yeah, they've been
not,
bad.
Not with the
Nah,
Yeah,
the
Bam's
Heat's been
bad.
kind of bad. Yeah,
Bam's been bad. I'm gonna be honest.
Bam's
He's
also
just
been bad.
bad to begin with. So
yeah.
I think that probably come down to Mobley and Chet, but I think that like y'all said, the Thunder are gonna be
Yeah.
the number 1 defense, and they might like definitively be the number 1. Like they might be like +7, +8 over league average.
Yeah.
Which
I
at
mean,
that
and
point,
he can't win MIP, and Trey Man went from 3 points. A
yeah,
game
that's
to
what I was gonna
20.
say too.
Like that's the definition of most improved.
there's too many.
Bro, you
people-
say that though, but Jalen Johnson didn't win MIP last year.
Yeah, but
He
he,
didn't,
was
like,
playing
Kobe
against
White
a bunch of guys
yeah.
who had like when the MIP last year was like really stacked because it was all guys who
Yeah.
made like Tyrese Maxey went from 20 points to 26,
Yeah.
right? Then you look,
Kobe
Sengun went from 14 to 20 and like 9, right? Then you look at Jalen Johnson, you went from 8 to 18. Then Kobe White, you went from 9 to 20. It's like all of these guys who at like different stages, right? Because like Tyrese Maxey went from being sub all-star to all-star. And then everyone else kind of went from being like rotational guy to like really good. And then Sengun went from like sub all-star to like pushing all-star, right? This year, like with the Wemby stuff, there's just gonna be too many people that take statistical jumps. I feel like
yeah, like
to
me.
justify that, unless he also
I
takes.
think
statistical
they're
leap.
going to do their absolute hardest to make sure Wemby does not walk away empty this
I
year.
mean, they can, but he
I'm
also
be
got to
honest,
put up the numbers.
Put
for
him on
it.
an All NBA team,
Bro.
bro. Like here, like just don't. Like
Nah.
if you want to say, he's,
I mean,
I'm
he
saying,
could.
if you want to say he's one of the 15 best players in the league, cool. I'm whatever. They're probably gonna give him a fake one of those.
Yeah,
But in terms of like, it'd be the award has already lost so much meaning when John Morant went from
yeah,
number 2 overall pick to all like and made like
I will say
they
with that
broke
though,
the
he
def-
went from averaging like 19 to like 27.
he
That's a
went from
pretty
what's
huge leap.
expected to what's expected of a number 2 pick.
I mean, but you gotta like my thing with that is because I know it's like a huge thing that people don't like when guys are like high picks or they're like all stars and they win MIP. Objectively speaking, right, going from being like a quote unquote good player that's averaging like 19 a game to he was All NBA second team, he was like a borderline MVP candidate. Nobody took a bigger leap than that. Like I do think
Yeah,
he was the most improved player
I get
in the entire league.
I get that argument of where like you statistically speaking and like from in terms
Yeah,
of
like, he's the
that
most
jump
that's
improved
not the
is
player.
spirit of the
insane.
award, though.
I
bro.
like the
That's not the spirit of the
award
award.
to me at least is supposed
I feel
to
like
be
it is.
I feel like the spirit of the
I don't
award is
fully-
to not reward top.
Because like
picks on
when
a normal
Harden
development path.
came to the Rockets, right, and he was on the Thunder averaging 16 a game. He came here, averaged 25. He's an All NBA player. To me, that's the most improved player in the league.
Yeah,
Like Paul George won the award. He was All Star.
Harden was the top 3 pick.
I get your
Paul
I get
George
your
was the
point.
top 10 pick, and he won it.
I
10
get
is
your
different
point.
than 3.
I guess to me, it's more so of just where you were the previous season and going into that off season, what the expectation for you was. Going to like the post off season of that first Ja year.
Because of the playing
before
game
he
against the Warriors.
Yeah, it wasn't like
he was dropping 30 in the playoffs.
Folks were kind of expecting Ja to take a. And if you want to say he exceeded those expectations,
Yeah,
I'll give
he
you
went
that.
All NBA.
But
game.
folks expected him to be like, you're going to be a top 25 player.
Bro,
Like, I think everyone had those expectations for him, and he became a top.
He beat the Warriors
25
in the
player.
play-in. Averaged 30 against
He averaged 30
them.
against the
Averaged
Dallas
30.
Warriors, which is what was
30
crazy.
averaged 30 in his first playoff series ever.
Yeah.
Like, no one went into that season going, yeah, this guy's going to be sub 20 points again.
Yeah, but that's
Like-
still a really huge leap, though, man. Like, it's hard to go from 9 to 19
Is
games,
that
or
leap
19
harder? Is that leap harder, or what Trey Man's doing right now? Thrown aside, traded for nothing, 3 points a game
Mhm.
to 6-man of the year candidate, 20 a game.
I ain't gonna lie. I
See?
think it's harder to go from 19 to 9 or 29,
Man,
bro.
I think
it is.
Reason I would disagree with you on that is the guy that got the 19-7 is going to be given the opportunity to go
Yep.
get 25-9. The guy that was averaging 3 a game that got traded for nothing, you got to go fight and claw. And
I'll give you
scrap
this
for
way.
everything.
If I could put you in like a time travel machine,
Mhm.
go back to draft night, right? And someone told you, hey, John Morant in year 3 is going to average 27 and 8. Is anyone going to be like, what?
No
No
that's not
way.
talking.
Yeah. So then I feel like that's not the spirit of MIP. The spirit of MIP is rewarding, or at least it was rewarding players who surprised you. Pascal Siakam.
Like,
No-
yeah,
no
that's
one
a
saw
real
him coming,
one.
right? Deserved MIP, right? I think that has been lost now.
Mhm.
And I think the stage is set for if Wemby gives you like 25-10
That might
with
not-
like
'Cause,
3.5
if we
blocks.
can just go his story, like, since 2015, Jimmy Butler, I feel like, was a really deserved one.
Very
Yeah, it
deserved.
like,
was.
very deserved. CJ McCollum was.
Yeah, but see, with the Jimmy Butler one, right? He went from a really good like rotational piece to an all-star. Like I think that is
I think the difference is like nobody like Jimmy Butler's reputation at that point in time was
Yeah,
defensive
hard nosed
stopper,
defensive
defensive player. Yeah.
stopper, and then he
Matisse
became
Thybulle,
like
bro.
yo, I'm an offensive engine
Mhm.
essentially for the Bulls, right?
Mhm.
Like I'll give you a point where I will agree with you. Where like taking that leap, I think Giannis's MIP was a really deserved 2017, where it's like, all right, this dude's just one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he went from
Yeah, but
averaging, like 17 to
again,
like 25.
wasn't even a lottery pick, right? Like I think he was what
he was
the
pick 15. I think he was
15,
right outside.
right?
15.
Like just outside the lottery pick.
Mhm.
Like no, that was like definition of like, oh my god, no one like again. If I went back to draft night
Yeah,
where Giannis was
you don't
drafted
think he about to
and
be-
said this guy's gonna win
MVP
2
candidate.
I don't think
MVPs and 2 depoys,
I don't think it has to be as simple as like your draft position though, because a guy like Laurie was
was
he
like
was
the
a super
seventh
high
pick.
lottery pick.
Yeah.
But the year going into it, it was like, man, Laurie's value's kind of
He was a throw-in.
He was a throw-in in the trade where it was like, see if you can fix him. And boy, did they fix him. And
Yep.
it's like, yeah, this is the MIP. Like this guy went from, to me, it's your preseason expectation. Whatever
Yeah.
I expected from you, like Jalen Green, I feel
I was
like
about to say, I was gonna bring him.
he's
up.
going to get his
Green?
name thrown into MIP, and I think he's going to be a weird combo because there's going to be some group of people that was like, no, this is expected of him. Like
Yeah.
year 4, number 2 overall pick, you're supposed to be this guy. This is what you were supposed to be pre-draft. That's going to be the flip side of it. Like, man, he was a bad player for a lot of stretches.
He was.
This wasn't
and
it, and now this is a guy that
personally-
looks like an
I
all-star.
personally think that obviously he's not gonna
Excuse me.
average 29, right? But well, I don't know, man. Year 4 is a new year.
Yeah, man, year 4 is year 3, man.
He's
But-
not gonna average 29.
But like, right,
He's gonna average 29. What are they talking about?
Let's say he rounds
Take
it
them
out to,
jerseys
like,
off, man. Y'all ain't real fans, man. What?
Let's say he rounds it out to like 26, 27, right? And at that point, we're looking at like all-star. He's probably pushing all-NBA. If not, he'll probably sneak on to the third team, right? Especially if
Yeah.
we're a playoff team.
Yeah. If you average 27 to make the playoffs, you're probably
Yeah.
third team.
And I think at that point, with the nature of this award, I think he's the most
They
improved
probably give
player.
it to him, yeah.
I don't think there's
They
a
probably
single
do.
player who took a bigger improvement than Jalen Green being like this clear sub all-star player to being an all-NBA caliber player on a playoff team and like leading the team.
Man.
I think that's all. I think that's most improved.
So the expectations
fair.
make the.
And that's to me-
I don't hate that take.
I don't
I might
disagree
just look at it like
Okay.
too simplistically, but I legitimately just
No, I-
believe that
I
it
get it.
is just the most improved player. Whatever that improvement is, whether it's you weren't playing at like CJ McCollum, he wasn't playing at all, and then he averaged 20 a game, right? That's similar to kind of what the Trey Man is looking like right now.
Yeah.
Or like Jalen Johnson last year. Or if it's Ja, you averaged 18 a game last year. Now you're averaging 27 and 9, and your team's a 2 seed. I just think give it to the guy who improved the most.
So you think a Jalen Green 19 to 27 point?
Yeah, that's a huge leap to me.
You think that leap would be bigger than 3 points a game to 20 a game?
Yes, because I think it's harder.
I would still give it to Trey Man.
I think
That's just me.
I think it's harder to go from being like a below all-star caliber player to because all NBA, you're pushing like top 15, top 10. Putting up top 15, top 10 production is really hard.
Yeah.
Especially like when you take into like efficiency leaps and all that stuff, right? I think that is a bigger jump than going from a guy who's like into the rotation, lower rotation, into now you're averaging 18, now you're averaging 2. Because we see a lot of guys average like, because there's like 60 plus players that average 20 a game a year, right? Because of how many shots there are now, pace and all that stuff, right? So that's an accomplishment, obviously. Like, I don't want to detract from what Trey Man's doing. But it's like 7 players in the league averaging 27 a game.
Yeah.
And then you get into like the efficiency and all the other stuff in it too. That's a huge jump. Like, this is a guy who averaged 20 a game on 54 true shooting. If that guy is giving me 27 on like damn near 60 true shooting, which is efficient at that point, that's the biggest leap to me.
Yeah.
So you got Jalen Green.
I'm with Jalen. I'm with Isaiah. I got Jalen Green.
Yeah,
I'm with Isaiah.
All right, so I'll be Trey Man then.
He
I'll be
is
Trey
convinced
Man.
me, man. He is
I'll be
convinced.
Trey Man.
Because to me, like my point was just like the nature of the award, like kind of like what you said, the spirit of what the award is kind of supposed to have been meant. But you convinced me there. I will agree with that. That leap is important. So
Yeah.
let's get to the juicy one.
You know what?
Let's get to the real one.
I was thinking about this. We can think of this, dude. Do you guys want to just throw that in next week? Because I feel like
MVP.
it has only been 5 games. It's hard to get like a real statistical sample size.
Nah, I want to get MVP out the way now.
You wanna get out the way?
I got something controversial to say.
All right, go for it.
Yeah,
I think all 3 of us have different MVP picks.
And that's the reason I really want to get to this.
Okay, so
Chet Holmgren is the MVP of the National Basketball Association right now. And tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
A better record.
Okay.
Better record.
That's so nasty, bro.
Undefeated.
Okay, do you
net rating. Number 1 defense.
I love we doing records.
on,
Then why
bro.
would somebody on the Cavs not be MVP then?
Because it's someone on the Cavs.
You can say it's Donovan. You can say it's
It's
Mobley.
not, no.
I like they don't have no.
Who's your
actual
MVP?
candidates.
You did prep for this,
Are we saying who do we think is gonna win it or who is like currently
bro.
MVP right now?
Who's your MVP?
Bro, season ended for some tragedy. A tragedy happened. Season ends today.
COVID-3.
COVID. Yeah, COVID 27. Man, like MVP.
I'm gonna feel kind of nasty saying this because they're below 500 right now, but I feel like it's Jokic, bro.
Oh, get out the road, bro. You're 1-4.
Gang, do you not, bro?
Are you really gonna give him the on-off MVP?
Gang, did you not see? Bro,
Hey,
Say the stats. Come
No,
on.
no.
BPM man. Fourth man.
Let him land.
All right, so
Make your case.
Gotta preface this, right? It's 5 games. It's a 5-game sample size. Using 5-game on-off sample size is not smart. You need a bigger sample, right? With that being said, through 5 games, when Jokic is on the court, the Nuggets are +4. When he is off the court, they are -28. Gang, I feel like that is.
Would Jokic be the first player in NBA history to win an MVP
Under 500?
No. Listen. He'd win an MVP because his teammates are bad twice. He would have done this for the second time because he did this when he was the 6th seed.
I'm gonna be so real. He made the sandwich. Like you're not getting this off. You asked for Russell Westbrook. Like I saw somebody tweet out that Jokic only asked for Russ to improve his on-off numbers. I'm believing it.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I'm dead believing it, bro. You made the sandwich. Why are you mad at it, bro?
He can't win.
Realistic pick because obviously Jokic with the team record and stuff is probably. Which I like. If they finish top 4, he should win. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do believe that.
All right, fair enough.
He finishes
Who's your realistic pick? Since you got 2.
I think it's gonna end up being Tatum.
Okay, thank you.
Early in the
it's Tatum, bro.
Preseason pick, I would have said SGA.
Yo, he's selling though.
But yeah,
no.
I think,
Preseason, I would have told you top 2 candidates gonna be SGA and Luka, and they both came in.
I was
gonna
say SGA or Tatum.
Neither one of them wants the award. Like I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I ain't gonna speaking on the Luka thing, and this is like a theory that I've kind of had for a while. he's such a like notorious slow starter, and the Mavs are such a notoriously slow starting team as a whole that I'm just not sure if they'll ever have the record for him to win MVP. Because they're gonna be fine, right? They're gonna end up still winning 50 games. They're probably gonna do the thing where they're like 500 through the first 35 games, and then like after January, they're the best team in the league, and they like walk to 50 wins. But the nature of the MVP, you either have to, you have to have like insane counting stats, which he's had before.
He always has insane counting.
Yeah, he averaged 33, 9, and 9. It's not going up from there.
That was kind of crazy.
You're not going up from there. So obviously at this point, it's a record thing. And with the way the Mavs are as a team, they're just always naturally built more for the playoffs than the regular season.
You say that though? I feel like this is the year.
You think they finish top 3?
Who is finishing above them with better numbers?
Shea and OKC would be the obvious.
Okay,
I think Tatum.
I think Shea and Tatum are real contenders. That's why
I'm gonna throw one out there because the chat was for clips, but we are gonna clip that. Anthony Davis.
I was about to say AD.
Anthony Davis looks like
you can't win an MVP with LeBron on your team.
I don't care.
I don't make the rules.
You see them numbers, bro.
I don't make the rules.
He's leading the league in scoring.
I don't make the rules.
I want to say he's top 5 in rebounding.
I think he might be like top 3.
He led the league in scoring or he was like second in scoring, number 1 in rebounding. Arguably, Depoy and LeBron was winning MVP votes. In 2020.
He is. He's
his numbers in the regular season they weren't like this good though.
Yeah, he's first in points at 31.8 a game, 5th in rebounds. And he is top 10 in blocks.
Hey, man, shout out to the person number
7th in blocks game. Shout out to Centers Culture for the stats.
It's not Şengün.
Yeah, he's 4th in rebounds right now.
Yeah, Şengün.
He's 4th?
Yeah,
I think he's at first.
Yeah. No, he averaged like 12 a game, bro.
But I'm like, AD might be.
I think he is first.
If the Lakers flirt with like top 5 seed,
which they might.
JJ Redick got them boys open.
They should be.
They should be like a top 5-ish seed.
Shout out the new coach.
Shout out.
Another. I'm shouting out your agenda board. Yeah. Another thing on the 24-25 DeAndre Williams agenda board was JJ Redick was going to be a good coach.
JJ Redick was going to show you guys that he's a good coach, man. Shout out to the guys with podcasts going to the NBA. Rafael, don't hit my line. I mean, I'm asking for the head coaching job. It's like, he makes some help. But I'm just saying, man, like it's. AD averages, let's say he keeps 32 and 12. That's not even crazy for him, I don't think.
It's not.
I think he can average 32.
I don't know if he can keep 32 up just with...
Man, with the volume they're giving him. Fine. They're running the offense through him.
But do 30, 10, and like 5.
Man, 30, 10, 4 assists, 2 blocks a game.
Yeah.
Top 4 seed.
That's just AD. They're not going to give him MVP.
Man, I don't know.
He's never averaged 30 before.
The LA propaganda got to come in crazy.
Didn't he average like 29?
He averaged, I think his highest game was 28.
28 something.
He's never been a 30-point per game scorer.
Okay, but the point is he's not going to lead the league in scoring.
Nah, he won't. It'll probably...
You know, this will be...
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It might... Who is going to lead? Ant? Because I think Tatum's numbers are probably going to naturally tail off.
It's gonna be.
I think top leading scorers right now would be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Luka. Just because
it might be Tatum because he might flirt with 30 a game this year.
Yeah, he will. But
he's done it before.
Yeah, so he might flirt with it again this year. So I
think
Maxi's numbers are gonna fall off. I think when Embiid comes back and Paul George comes back because he's having like 32 a game, but it's horrible.
It might be Giannis. Because I'm really thinking about it.
Listen, the only reason Luka's not leading the league in scoring right now is because he's not shooting well.
Yeah, he's struggling.
He has the volume. He has the shots. He will lead the league in scoring.
Yeah, he's leading the league in shot attempts.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, bro. I didn't even look that up before this.
25 shots.
I lied. Yes. Sneaky, slightly sneaky MVP candidate. And
I don't think there'll be a good enough. The rest of his counting stats won't look good.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll.
Yeah, he's not putting up anything besides points right now.
That's the problem. That's about, if you put up nothing besides points and you're not even leading the league in points, nah.
I don't think we'll ever see a Jordan MVP again. Like I don't think you can walk through the year averaging 36 and 6 and they'll give you the award. I think that's the reason Shea didn't win it last year.
Yep.
Like Shea's got to average like
triple-double.
Shea's got to average like 36 and 8. Like it's got to look really, really good for you to be like, oh yeah. I remember it was that stat Shea had last year. It was like it's him, Jordan, and D Wade to average like 36-6
with like 4 steals or something.
Yeah, like a steal and a half a game or something like that. And it's like, oh, this guy didn't win MVP. They want to see 29, 11, 7. Like they really want to see. You got to have double digits in 2 categories, man.
With like the MVP stuff now, people's counting stats are just too good for you to win off of like outlier statistical production.
Yeah.
Like I think the first year Shea averaged 30 a game and the Thunder were like 10 seed. It was like 5 people averaging 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Tatum was one of them. Yeah. And Tatum didn't even finish top 3 for MVP.
He didn't.
He averaged 38 and 4 and he was like 4th place for MVP. And And then last year,
crazy. Hilarious.
and then last year we were talking about it with Luka, 33, 9 and 9, finished third.
Which is that was low key. That's a crazy one to me. I get
That one's
Jokic
kinda
winning
crazy
it.
to
You average 33, 9 and 9 on a season, and you tell me I'm not the best player in the NBA.
I mean,
That's
he
kinda
was averaging
nasty.
36 and 6, and he finished second.
This is what I am a firm believer. I get it's a regular season award. You can keep it for the regular season. Man, do not vote on these awards until after the playoffs. I am a firm believer in that. I am such a firm believer.
That's
in
so
that.
nasty. You can't do
It
that.
is nasty, bro, but like, I get it's a regular season award, but to me, most valuable player, it's hard to gauge that in regular season hoops to me. I think that really shows up in the playoffs when we get who's most valuable. Issue is, and this is the problem like Lucas ran into, and I think Shay's ran into like now, they had showed in the playoffs how valuable they
Yeah,
are.
their value goes
Like
up.
those were the two best players in the Western Conference last year. All respect to Jokic. You got
Jokic
packed
had
up.
like 3 great games.
Yeah, like you got packed up last year, bro. Like respectfully, like those two were the clear two, in my opinion, best players in the Western Conference last year. They had the push going into the season. Now the start of the season's happening,
They're both
and
trolling.
they've laid eggs, like
Yeah.
completely laid eggs on it. So it's like, man, we're supposed to be talking about you right now. Like
Mhm.
Luka's coming in, he's going to win MVP. It would have been a nasty like push for them to have. And Shay as well. It's like your team's 5-0, and I care about Chet
Yeah, he
more.
just don't have the numbers.
What's
yeah.
crazy is though, I expected that from Luka because Luka has been a notorious slow starter.
Yeah, he's a notorious
Shea is
troll.
like Mr. Consistent.
I
am
it's
very
weird.
surprised.
It's because he's trying to take threes, and that's the part that scares me about the
odd,
Thunder.
man.
It's like, dude, they're out there practicing,
Yep.
like legit. Like he's out there, like I'll take pull up threes.
No,
I'll
they
try.
are.
It's like, what? Why are you? No, you were. I think last game they played the Spurs, not the Spurs. Game after the Spurs. Why am I forgetting?
I think they played the Blazers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of went back to like his regular shot
Yeah.
diet,
Mhm.
and it was like, oh man, this offense looks like OKC. Again. It's like, it kind of looks ridiculous, and it's like, okay, is he gonna lean more back into that?
OKC episode, man. This is not.
It really, I hate.
I
them
mean, we're
dudes.
talking about the.
Yeah, nah, apparently they're gonna win. I'm gonna be, man, I hate watching so unsuccessful right now.
It's so
Hey, yo, I needed it. April and May, bro, please, bro. April and May, please don't fail me.
Alright, but
A generational talent is something, maybe not. So as I plot on the things that I yearn, seeking the
we did MIP.
MIP, DPOI, rookie of the year.
MIP rant. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that kinda ran a little tangent.
Depoy got heated. And then we talked about every team.
Oh, coach
I mean,
of the year. We can do that real quick.
Coach of the year. Yeah. I mean,
It's gonna be Mark Dagnall or.
Man, give it to JJ, man.
nah.
Give it to
you're trolling.
JJ.
You're trolling.
You got the narrative, bro.
It's Kenny.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Boston.
I'm
and-
lying. It's Ime.
Boston and the Thunder both about to be flirting with like 70 wins.
No,
Nah,
it's,
it's gonna go
it's,
to one.
I would give it to Kenny Atkinson. If the Cavs
Are
are
they
a
gonna
top
take
3
a huge
seed,
enough win jump?
if they're a top 3 seed, which means they're like 55 ish,
That's a
like
5-win jump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a brand new coach.
Why can't Missoula get it?
I
Why
like
can't Missoula?
because I'm not my thing.
That's
my-
not crazy.
Because he's been on a crazy PR run.
That's not crazy.
I'm gonna be
Why
honest.
I was
can't
gonna
Missoula get it?
I was gonna say my thing. Why I think it's either gonna be Dagnall or Missoula is both of these teams like they're on pace to like damn near push 70 wins,
Yeah.
and there's like no way you can realistically look at two teams that are like historically great because they're
That's a
both
good point.
they're both gonna put up historically great regular
know
season
what?
numbers.
I think it's gonna be Missoula then, because you're right. If we sit at the end of the season and it's like 2 teams push 60 or 2 teams push
They might
70,
put 70.
yeah, 2 teams are like mid 60s, which
Yeah.
very possible, right? One guy won it last year.
Probably
One guy
yeah.
hasn't won it.
And I'm, the
You're right.
Missoula-
Why isn't it
Oh,
Missoula?
he didn't win.
Yo.
He
oh,
didn't
yeah,
win
he's
it.
winning.
It might be Missoula.
The Missoula PR run
'Cause
has
Mark won it
been
last year.
insane this year. So
Could he go? Nah, they had to win 70 for him to go back to back. Probably.
I mean,
Yeah.
you went 70 games, dude.
nah, he go back. If they win 70, he got to go back to back.
Basically, it's
If you are
it's gonna come
within,
down to who has the better record.
if you're within
at this
1 or 2 games of having the greatest record of all time,
Yeah.
you're winning it. But my thing is, if they're both in the mid 60s,
Yeah.
they're giving it to Missoula.
How much help does Shea need, man?
That's what
Oh.
I'm bro. They talking about
That's ridiculous.
Aaron Wiggins could start on every other
Man. I was
team. He
gonna
like
say-
the ninth
I was gonna
man.
say,
bro.
Aaron
Yo,
Wiggins saved basketball. Chet is the best defensive player in the world. J-Dub is an all-star. He's got his own shoe now. Like,
Lou Dort
That's crazy.
playoff
But
Lou
record.
Dort,
we-
Alex Cruz. So how much help does he need?
Bro, we didn't do 6 man of the year. It might be Aaron Wiggins.
It might be.
Bro, so we just
No,
talked
no,
about
I
we
ain't gonna
talked about a team that's might finish top 2 in Depoy Coach of the Year, 6 man of the
They
year,
had
MVP.
like 2-6 better than your
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Come back, bro.
They might finish top 2 in every single
I'm not gonna lie.
individual
Trey Man
award.
doesn't win 6 man of the year this year.
It's
He
crazy.
has
He
been ridiculous. I'm not gonna like. He has been hooping. It's one of my favorite stories to watch so far. Like
Mhm.
the whole Brink swag back thing, and just like the way he's playing, it's so fun to watch. He got to be 6 man.
Tari Eason coming for that.
Is he technically our sixth? Like
I
that's
think it might
think
be Amin.
that's gonna be the issue with him though. It's like
He's our sixth man.
Amin,
to, we know that, but I promise you, the narrative point is gonna be like the conversation we had earlier. Man, Houston's got 4 starting wings though.
we might got
Like he's gonna lose because it's a
problem.
like, man death
Second
by
one,
death.
Amen don't got the stats.
Atari and Amin stats are gonna be like
Yeah, they're
pretty simple.
we're gonna have dudes that cancel each other out.
Y'all watching what Tari's putting up in limited
Nah,
minutes?
Tari's been hooping, man.
Well, wait till his minutes
Shout out to
gets
Peso,
lifted,
man.
bro.
Shout out to Peso, man.
Yo, he might have like 15 and 8 off the
possible.
bench.
Yo, Tari Eason's averaging 15 and 8, and I don't mean this disrespectfully because I love Tari Eason. If he's averaging 15 and 8, dog, we're the 2 seed. I swear to God, we're the 2 seed, bro. You're telling me like Shingun's gonna bounce back? Oh my goodness, we're the best team in the West. Forget OKC. We're winning 70. Oh my lord. Man, what? Peso give me 15 and 8?
Real quick, I guess, just to
Throw
some other
You got
candidates
like
out there.
90 seconds. Ken.
yeah. I think if we take a win jump, maybe you could try to sneak Ime in there because you're taking a jump from being right outside the play in. We have to be a playoff team out right
We won too many games last year.
I can't.
Okay, what if for the sake of hypothetical, right? Don't like fry me talking about I'm tripping, right? I'm being a Homer Gaston team,
Jalen
right?
Green MVP?
Let's say we win like 53 games, 54 games, right?
Still not enough.
That's a 13 win jump. And let's say
I think that'd be it.
let's say
This is the thing. If at the end of the season it's like, oh hey, look, the Rockets like the cute one little 52 games to the 4th.
that's like the third
oh shit,
game.
the Celtics have 66 wins.
Okay,
And
yeah,
Joe Mazzulla
yeah,
didn't
they
win head
also
coach.
in this hypothetical, the Celtics would also have to be like low 60s, and the Thunder would also have to be low 60s.
No shot, bro.
Which one of them is probably gonna finish high 60s?
Yes,
Yeah.
like I'm sorry. This is we won too many. Like if we won 35 games last year, I'm with you.
Yeah, because 35 to 53 does.
Yeah,
nice.
but we won 41 games, going from like 41 to 50.
No, you really missed the plan with 41.
41 wins,
dude.
dog. Oh my lord.
And then you had to watch the Hawks with 34.
All right.
Playing.
I think that's gonna wrap us up though.
So you want to take us out, dude?
Yeah, we can go ahead and outro here. Thank you guys for tuning along once again to the Right Read podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you guys listen to your podcast for. I think we're on audiobook and we're on a bunch of them, man. Make sure you guys all follow us. Legit, it's insane how many links I have to post out. Make sure you guys follow all of us on Twitter/X. Shout out Elon, keep paying us. Our links will be in the description down below.
We're getting paid.
Y'all not getting paid? Hey, that's a little Chick-fil-A money, but like, you know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Make sure you guys click all the links in the description, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you guys know when we're dropping next. And that has been the Right Read Podcast.